All right, so are you ready to make some seriously awesome video content? Content that keeps people glued to the screen? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into storytelling.
Storytelling.
You got it, especially your video. And we've got two super cool sources to dig into.
Okay.
One's this really punchy video all about practical tips, and the other's like a study guide kind of thing that really gets into the psychology behind it all.
Oh, wow.
The really neat part is they both kind of flip the script on that whole like beginning, middle, end structure we're used to.
Oh, yeah, the classic storytelling format. I'm curious about that.
Right, it's like they're saying, hold on, that might not be the best way to do it anymore, especially for videos.
Why not? I mean, it's been the go-to structure for like forever, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not that those classic elements aren't important anymore,
Right.
but maybe, just maybe, the order we present them needs a little bit of a refresh.
I see a modern twist.
Yeah, think about it. When you're scrolling through videos online, do you really have the patience to wait for the story to slowly unfold?
Not really, no.
Exactly. Everyone's attention span is, well, let's just say, it's not getting any longer.
I totally get that. You
Yeah.
got to grab people's attention right from the start.
Boom, right. And that's what these sources are all about. In fact, the video straight up says, ditch the beginning, middle, end, and instead lead with the conflict.
Lead with the conflict. So, like, jump right into the problem.
Yeah, like bam, right into the drama.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. It's definitely not how we're traditionally taught to tell stories.
Right. So I was wondering about that too. How would that work for all sorts of videos? Like, would you do that for a tutorial the same way you do it for a vlog?
That's a great question. You know, I think the type of conflict you highlight would really depend on, like, the genre of the video and who you're trying to reach.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's got to be relevant to your audience.
Yeah, totally. Like, in a tutorial video, the conflict could be the viewer's own struggle to do something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, are you tired of your cookies always turning out burnt?
Ooh, relatable.
Right. Well, I was too, until I discovered this one weird trick.
You're tapping into their frustration and immediately offering a solution. I like it.
Exactly. But then for a vlog, the conflict could be something personal, you know, some challenge you're facing that people can connect with.
Okay, I see the difference.
Like, imagine starting a travel vlog with, I almost missed my flight and lost all my luggage. But what happened next was incredible.
Ooh, that's good. Now I'm hooked. I gotta know what happened. So, okay, you lead with the conflict to grab people's attention.
Yeah.
But then what? What's the next move in this storytelling game?
Okay, so this next one might sound a little counterintuitive at first.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
They say lead with the end in mind.
What? So instead of keeping the outcome a secret, you actually reveal it right away?
You got it. It's all about sparking that curiosity.
Okay, I'm not sure I'm following this one. How does that actually work?
All right, think about those cooking videos where they show you the amazing finished dish right at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Instantly, you're like, I want that. Tell me how to make it.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, it's like when I see those travel bloggers posting pictures of themselves at breathtaking destinations.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the feeling you want to evoke in your viewers. It makes them crave the journey.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. So it's like starting my video about this incredible hike by first showing myself reaching the summit, you know, all triumphant.
Yes.
And then the viewer's thinking, whoa, how did they even get up there? I gotta see this.
That's exactly it. By revealing the end, you're basically planting a question in the viewer's mind.
Which is?
How did they get there? And that's what keeps them watching.
Okay, so lead with the conflict to hook them, then reveal the end result to make them crave the whole journey.
You got it.
This is already blowing my mind. My videos are about to get a serious upgrade.
I'm glad to hear it.
So what else do these sources have in store for us? I'm ready for more.
Well, this next one's all about pacing.
Pacing, as in like how fast or slow the video goes.
Yeah, kind of. It's about using lots of short, impactful clips instead of these long, uninterrupted shots.
Okay, so you're saying like shorter clips keep things moving.
Exactly. The video actually uses words like punchy and polarizing to describe this style.
Oh, punchy and polarizing, huh?
Yeah. Like, think about it. It's like the difference between reading a novel and watching an action movie.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's way more intense.
With shorter clips, you're constantly hitting the viewer with these simulating visuals, you know?
Okay, but why does that work so well? Why are we wired to respond to that kind of thing?
Well, there's actually some pretty cool research that suggests that shorter clips actually tap into our brain's reward system.
Really?
Yeah.
So like dopamine and stuff.
Exactly. They release dopamine, which keeps us engaged and coming back for more.
Wow, so it's not just about telling a story, it's like you're playing with the viewer's brain chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about creating this really dynamic visual rhythm that keeps people hooked.
Okay, so we've talked about grabbing attention with conflict, keeping things interesting by revealing the end,
Right.
and making the whole thing super dynamic with short, snappy clips. So what's the final piece of the puzzle? What's the secret sauce that brings it all together?
Well, this is where it gets really personal, actually. The final piece is all about you, the creator. It's about bringing what the video calls main character energy.
Main character energy. So it's not just about the visuals, but also about how we present ourselves, our
You
vibe.
got it. It's about your tone of voice, your
Yeah.
body language, even your facial expressions, all of it.
Wow. Okay, so if I'm not excited about my content, the viewers won't be either.
Exactly. Why should they be if you're not, right?
Yeah.
But it's not about forcing yourself to be super expressive or anything.
Right, because that would feel fake.
Totally. It's more about finding what truly excites you about your topic and letting that passion shine through.
That makes sense. I used to struggle with that. I felt like I had to be this like super high energy, over the top persona on camera, but it always felt so inauthentic.
Yeah, I can see how that would happen.
But then I realized when I actually focused on sharing something I genuinely cared about, the excitement just naturally came through.
I love that. That's what it's all about, finding that genuine spark.
So it's not about putting on a show, it's about sharing something you love.
And that's what people connect with. That genuine enthusiasm is contagious. It makes people feel like they're part of something special.
Okay, I get it. So even if I'm not doing cartwheels and shouting, if I'm genuinely excited about, say, teaching people how to build a website, that excitement will still come through.
Absolutely. It's all in the subtle cues, the twinkle in your eye, the way your voice kind of changes when you're talking about something you're really into.
Oh, I see. So it's less about being a performer and more about being a passionate guy.
That's a great way to put it. Like you're genuinely invested in helping the viewer learn and grow.
I like that. And it actually ties in with what the study guide mentions about treating your viewer as the main character of your story.
Oh, yeah. That's such a cool concept.
Right, making them feel like they're on this journey with you. But how do we actually do that? How do we make that main character concept actually work in a practical way?
Well, let me give you an example. Let's say you're making a video about learning to play the guitar.
All right, I'm listening.
Okay, so instead of starting with a super dry explanation of music theory and all that,
Right, yeah.
imagine opening with a clip of yourself just effortlessly playing this beautiful melody.
Oh, like the lead with the end thing we talked about.
Exactly. Now think about your viewer. What are they feeling when they see that?
Probably a mix of awe and like, I could never do that.
Right. It's that feeling of, this is amazing, but it's so far out of my reach.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you bridge that gap? How do you make it feel attainable for them?
That's where the main character concept comes in. Now imagine cutting to a shot of you, day one, struggling to even hold the guitar properly.
Oh, I get it. Like showing all the awkward fumbles and stuff.
Exactly. Fingers cramping, dropping picks, the whole 9 yards. Show them that you were a beginner once too.
So you're acknowledging their self-doubt right off the bat. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay to not be perfect.
Precisely. It's like saying, hey, I was there once too, and look where I am now. It's that relatable struggle that every beginner goes through.
Oh, I love that. It makes it so much more human and relatable.
And then as you move on to teaching specific chords or techniques, you can always relate it back to their journey,
Oh, yeah. Instead of just explaining the mechanics, you can connect it to their experience.
Exactly. Instead of just showing how to place your fingers, you might say something like, remember how frustrating it was to get those first few chords right? Well, here's a trick I wish I knew back then.
Oh, that's so good. It's like you're not just teaching, you're empathizing.
Yeah. You're walking alongside them every step of the way,
Yeah.
celebrating the small wins and offering encouragement when they stumble.
That's so powerful because when they feel understood and supported, they're going to stick with it. They're going to keep watching and keep learning.
Exactly. And that's what makes the difference between just watching a video and actually feeling inspired to take action.
This is honestly making me rethink everything about how I approach my content.
I'm so glad. It's not just about presenting information. It's about creating an experience, a connection.
Right. It's about that shared journey. And speaking of shared experiences, these sources also touch on something really interesting, the importance of really thinking about your viewer as the main character of your story.
Yeah, it's about making them feel like the hero of their own learning adventure.
So it's not just about me showing off my awesome video editing skills or whatever. It's about helping the viewer feel like they can achieve something amazing too.
Exactly. It's about giving them value, inspiring them, and making them feel like they've accomplished something by the end.
Wow, this is making me realize that good storytelling goes way beyond just the technical stuff.
It really does.
It's about empathy. It's about really understanding your audience and what they're going through.
It's about creating a story that resonates with them on a deeper level.
And that's what makes content truly memorable. It's not just informative, it's transformative.
Exactly. It's about sparking that change in the viewer, that shift in perspective.
I'm feeling super inspired. I'm ready to go out there and create something amazing. But before we wrap up, I want to dig a little deeper into this whole viewer as the main character thing.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Can you give us some more concrete examples of how to actually apply that concept?
Absolutely. So let's go back to that guitar example we were talking about.
Right. I'm ready.
Okay, so remember how we talked about that opening shot where you're just effortlessly playing that awesome melody? And then we talked about showing those early struggles to make it relatable?
Yeah, I remember. It's about bridging the gap between, wow, that's amazing, and I could never do that.
Exactly. So you've hooked them with the lead with the end.
Yeah.
And then shown them that you were a beginner once too.
Right, so they're feeling a little more hopeful at this point.
Hopefully. Now, think about your viewer. What are they feeling at this point? What are their fears or doubts?
Well, they might still be feeling intimidated, you know? Like, what if I just don't have the talent?
That's a great point. So you need to address those fears head on. Maybe even share a personal anecdote about a time you felt like giving up,
Yeah.
but then you pushed through and it was totally worth it.
Oh, that's a good idea. So it's like you're saying, hey, I get it, it's tough, but you can do this.
Exactly. You're not just teaching them how to play guitar, you're showing them that it's okay to struggle, that everyone starts somewhere.
And that the journey is part of the fun.
Exactly. And as you move on to teaching specific chords or techniques, you can always relate it back to their journey. You know?
Yeah. Keep bringing it back to their experience.
Instead of just explaining the mechanics, you could say something like, remember how frustrating it was to get those first few chords right? Well, here's a trick I wish I knew back then that'll make things so much easier.
It's like you're right there with them, guiding them through each step.
Exactly. And celebrating those little victories along the way.
Oh, yeah. Like, woohoo!
Yeah.
You got that chord, high five!
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, learning something new can be frustrating sometimes.
Totally. And feeling like you have someone who gets it, who's been there, makes a huge difference.
And that's what makes this approach so powerful.
Yeah.
It's not just about sharing knowledge. It's about creating a connection, a shared experience.
It's about empowering the viewer to achieve their own goals.
And that's what sets great content apart. It's not just informative, it's transformative.
I love that. So to recap, lead with the conflict, reveal the end result, keep it snappy with those short clips.
Right, hit 'em with those dopamine bursts.
Exactly. And most importantly, bring that main character energy.
Whatever that looks like for you.
Right. It's about finding your own authentic way to connect with your audience.
Because in the end, it's all about that connection.
Yeah.
That shared experience that makes content truly memorable.
Well said. This has been an amazing conversation. Thank you for breaking down all these storytelling secrets for us.
Of course. My pleasure.
And to everyone listening, I hope you're feeling as inspired as I am to go out there and create some awesome content. Remember, you don't have to be a Hollywood director to tell a great story.
You got this.
Just be yourself, find what you're passionate about, and share it with the world.
And don't forget to treat your viewers like the stars of their own show.
Absolutely. Make them feel like they're right there with you, experiencing the journey, overcoming the challenges, and ultimately achieving their goals.
It's their story. You're just helping them tell it.
I love that. All right, that's a wrap for today's deep dive. Until next time, happy creating.
See ya. So we were talking about treating the viewer as the main character, right?
Yeah. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that whole concept, you know?
I hear you. It's definitely a different way of thinking about